My name is Isaac Kinter, and I am the Vice President of Sales here at Eyefinity. And it's my pleasure today to introduce you uh, to Phernell Walker, someone who's not only an accomplished professional, but also a passionate leader in his field. Phernell is widely recognized as a trailblazer and an innovator through years of dedication. He's built a well-known reputation for advancing industry standards, educating future leaders. He's the author of Pure Optics and an international speaker, and was recently honored with the Lifetime Achievement Award from the International Opticians Association. And in addition to all of that, Phernell is also, surprise, surprise, the original senior product manager of Eyefinity EHR. So we're so blessed today to have him join us and share how the cutting edge technology of Eyefinity EHR can transform you and your practice. So without further ado, please join me in giving a warm welcome to the incredible Phernell Walker. Phernell, you can go ahead and take it away.
All right. Hey, Isaac, thank you so much for that great introduction. I can't wait to hear what I'm about to say today on this beautiful, beautiful day. Yes, so much to be thankful for during this holiday season. Just want to let everybody know and say thank you for being here because Eyefinity EHR has really transformed the way doctors actually practice. And what I mean by that, Eyefinity EHR can actually liberate you to be a doctor and do what you want to do. And what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is you're going to spend more time focused on your patient, be giving them eye-to-eye contact, being able to access their data very quickly, very efficiently, contextually. So when you're going through your workflow, you're able to see the data that you need in real time, knowing that it's safe, it's secure, and that it's going to be fast and convenient for you with the latest technology. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Now today, before I get started, I want to let you know that I'm going to use an iPad. Even though I'm using an iPad today, Eyefinity EHR can be used from a tablet device, any tablet actually that's connected to the internet, as well as like such as an iPad or an Android device, but it's really designed best and works best for the iPad. But you could use it from a PC as well. And there's so many features, we won't even get through everything today. So without further ado, let me go ahead and share my screen and we'll go ahead and get started. How does that look, guys? Can you see my patient on there, my screen at the home screen for Eyefinity EHR?
Oh, yeah, it looks perfect.
Oh, let's do it. Hey, we're ready to go. So let me explain what we're looking at right now. What we're looking at right now is my actual iPad. This is not a PowerPoint presentation right here. So everything you see is going to be in real time. So when you, the doctor or your staff, log in to the homepage, you have the options to take a look at the agenda or your office flow for the day. I have mine set to agenda because I want to be able to see all of my patients for today. I can see my first patient today is going to be Champagne Walker over here. I can see her picture. I can see her date of birth. I can see that she's already checked in, and I can create a visit in real time very quickly and easily. So how do I do that? I'm going to simply create visit. Now, as I go through the workflow, we use something that you're going to notice that's called AI, or artificial intelligence, that uses predictive selection. And what that means is Eyefinity EHR will actually select items before you select it. So as you're going through your workflow, you will not see me select billing codes. I won't have to do that. Though they'll be visible, I will not have to actually select them. It'll actually make determinations for me for the type of equipment that I'm using before I even have to select it. So let's go ahead and begin. I'm going to select Create Visit. Now, once I select Create Visit, I'm going to jump right into my patient's chart. So what you're looking at now is my patient's chart. Now, what I love about this view is that it's called a tile view. I can go through my CCHPI review of systems, vision exam, which is my pre-testing, refractions, and everything that has to do with non-medical elements of the exam. Then I can jump into slit lamp ophthalmoscopy that we call ocular exam, and then it'll drive my impressions and plans. Now, if I wanted to, some of you may like this type of view right over here. So you can have it the way you want it. So you can customize your views. You can go right through. I'm going to slide down here and I can go right through the exam. But I'm going to stick with just the tile view today because that is proven to be the most efficient. As I go through the exam, you're going to notice these colors up here start to change to indicate how I'm doing through the exam. So easy to use, very quick, very efficient, and I'll try to go slow today because usually I can get through an exam in about 4 to 5 minutes. So let's begin with our CCHPI. So once I select CCHPI, it's going to take me to that area, and I'm just going to drive right across here. So let's add our complaint. You'll notice my top 10 complaints. This is by user. Let's say she comes in for annual eye health exam. She's having some blurred vision, right eye, left eye respectively. I'm now going to drive through my history of present illness. Let's talk about the blurred vision. We can talk about the quality of the vision. Let's talk about the severity of the vision. How long has this been going on? This has probably been going on 10 or more years. And let's go ahead and say that we're done. Now, you get to choose how many of those elements that you want to document. Notice that I quickly went through that, talking to the patient, documenting everything with, instead of swipe versus type. I didn't have to type anything in. I didn't have to select anything very tediously. Now I can go through my review of systems. If I want to get through this very quickly, I can select mark everything reviewed or custom reviewed. We reviewed everything today, and she seems to be a pretty healthy patient. Now, what exam elements did my technician or I complete today? So if I were the doctor and I want to see where my tech was during the exam process, I can see that they completed CCHPI. If I wanted more details about it, I can go ahead and select this and get down into kind of the roots of why that patient's here. But I don't really want to do that today. I'm just going to jump right into the vision exam. Now, once I select vision exam, what's really great about this and what you're going to notice is all of my workflow is right here available on the left-hand side. The reason we built it that way is we like to show you information that's contextual to that part of the exam so you're not overwhelmed with data. You can change all of these. So if your workflow is, hey, I want to perform an auto refractor first, I can put auto refraction first and I can resort this by person and then set it. Mine is set for my workflow today. So my patient comes in, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to import her last exam. When I do that, then I have her habitual RX here. I can take her visual acuities from the last exam, it was 2020. Maybe today she's 2030. Maybe that left eye over there is 2025. And let's go ahead and say combine, maybe she's 2025 plus 1, and I save it. Once I make those adjustments, as you can see here, it shows me her wearing RX, which is her habitual RX, shows me her distance visual acuity, which is degraded since last time. I could do the same thing if she were wearing contacts, hard, soft, whatever. So now let's go ahead and jump down to auto refractor. Maybe we're going to go ahead and add an auto refractor here. Let's go ahead and talk about integration at this point. So right now, I would just press one button on my auto refractor that would bring in her data from when I perform the measurements and import it into these fields, right? But let's say that because I don't have an auto refractor set up right here, I'm just going to go ahead and import something from the past just to demonstrate. But normally I could go ahead and just input that information. Obviously with auto refractor, she wouldn't have an add power. So let's go ahead and press save. And again, equipment integration is very vast. If your piece of equipment was developed in the past 30 years, yes, in the last 30 years, I'm sure it's on our list, and we can go through that later. Keratometric measurements will come over for contact lenses as well, but let me show you what they look like if we were fitting her for contact lenses today. IOP, notice that it shows tono pen right here. How does it know that I use a tono pen? Well, that's called the predictive learning, where it actually remembered what I've done in the past and then makes selections for me. I can override those selections. We have non-contact tonometry. We have a Goldman. We have tono pen. We have everything. We have eye care tonometer or whatever you're using, well, such as eye care with the tono pen or applanation as well. But we have a list of about 15 different devices there. Let's go ahead and begin the refraction. I'm going to start with the manifest. Now we're ready to do that. Let's begin and import from what she came in wearing as our starting point. And then once I do that, I simply select import, and we're going to be able to actually import all of that information over very quickly. Now, if I wanted to, I could manually type all that in, but why? I'm on Eyefinity EHR. So I performed the auto refractor today. I've done the wearing RX. Now I'm going to refine this. Let's say now she's 250. Let's say that her axis has shifted. Maybe it's now 90. Right? So I can do my quick select right over here to 90. And then once I do that, I can come over here and let's say now she's let's go ahead and change that. Let's go ahead and say maybe she is a 6 6.5 diopter. Axis is the same. And let's go ahead and change her add power over here. And now let's maybe say her add power has jumped to +2.25. Now her visual acuity, we got her to her 20/20 right there, and done. So you can see how quickly I did that very effectively. Now that becomes the manifest. Now I could have a second manifest if you wanted to. You probably wouldn't, but that could be your manifest. And let's say this becomes the final RX. How do I create a final RX quickly? I can just select final RX. Now I know what you're thinking right now. Wow, could I have imported that from my Autophoropter? Yes, if you're using like a Marco, let's say Epic or 5100 or 6000 series, you could do that, or from a Topcon device or any device that's automated that we integrate with, which the list is very, very broad. Too many to actually go over right now, but we have a list of those if you'd like to see them. I can make specific recommendations for the patient if I want them wearing sunglasses, UV protection, if I want to say specific progressive lenses. Let's go ahead and say the usage for this is going to be full-time wear. Now notice up here in the corner, I'm going to go ahead and save and send this information to the optician. Now that's super important to do it at that point. Why? Because maybe I dilate the patient and I want the patient to go out and take a look at a pair of glasses if I wanted to, right? So they can go ahead and pick that out. Let's go ahead and choose diagnostic drops. You'll notice the drops I use, tropicamide phenylephrine, 2.5% is right here. I did not fluoresce the patient today. Let's go ahead and save it. Okay. Now that information shows up, shows me date, time, stamp. I don't have to worry about that. We can perform serial tonometry as well. Let's say that you want to put drops in and I want to go back to my, let's say, IOP. I could put in a second IOP, right? If I did Goldman, if I want to verify what I had there or anything I'd like. Let's go ahead and talk about other tests such as pupils, visual field motility, and those binocular tests. I can go ahead and quickly document my PERLA, visual fields, motility, all is normal. If they weren't normal, I can open up those panels very quickly and easily and document any, let's say if there's, let's say a visual field constriction, FDT test, let's say is incorrect, or let's say something were not PERLA, right? And they weren't equally round and reactive to light. You know, I can make those changes there. Let's now jump into contact lenses, right? We've got that patient there that says, hey, by the way, doc, I would like to be fitted for contact lenses today. Great. Have you worn them before? And then you go through that and you go through your visual health and so forth. I just want to show you what the area looks like to give you an idea. Now, what's great about Eyefinity EHR is we maintain the contact lens list. What do you mean by that, Phernell? Simply put, we update this list. You ready for this? Get ready for it. Every 4 to 5 weeks. 5 weeks. Wow. So that means that on average, it averages, you know, sometimes 6, but on average, it's about 5 weeks. It's updated. You're going to have the latest lenses available to you, right? So let's go ahead and import. Maybe she was wearing lenses before, and I'm going to go ahead and bring in whatever lenses she was wearing before. I'm just going to choose maybe this particular lens over here. Again, whatever lens she's wearing, it's up to you to go ahead and choose as their doctor over there. Then you can make any changes here, right over here to base curve, diameter, power. If this were a toric lens, obviously cylinder and axis as well. Now, once you've made those adjustments and changes, then you can quickly come over here to VAs. And notice the VAs are there because I import it. If I didn't import it, then they wouldn't be there, of course. Here's my assessment contact lens regimen over here. If movement, sensation, vision, and comfort are fine, toric orientation, if this were a toric lens, I can indicate it over here. No rotation nasally, counterclockwise, clockwise, how many degrees, very easily, just like that. So as you can see, Eyefinity EHR has thought of everything. Even the over refraction is there. If I wanted to perform an over refraction, I can right over there. So let's go ahead and save that contact lens. Now, if I had a second trial, third trial, fourth trial, it's unlimited trials, right? Same thing for hybrid RGP lenses. We have it in there as well. Sclerals will be in that area as well, or in that area as well. So as you can see here, all of my workflow is right there. Again, you can hide, not hide, whatever you'd like. Maybe you're performing color vision because it's a new patient. You could do that here. Pachymetry for corneal thickness and all the different zones, the 5 zones across there. You can do that there. If you had an integrated device, your pachymeter, let's say was On our list, obviously this would fill in for you. Retinal nerve fiber layer, specular microscopy, anything that you're doing is going to be there. Now let's go back and let's take a look at the overview of what we've done so far, shall we? Just for fun. If you look here, I've got my CCH Pilot review of system, everything from the vision exam elements. Now we're almost done. Let's go ahead and document our ocular exam. What's the ocular exam? Just to remind you, slit lamp ophthalmoscopy. So when I jump into slit lamp ophthalmoscopy, what you're going to notice here is everything can be documented bilaterally. So on this first column here, I've got my right eye, I've got my left eye respectively over here, and then everything goes from adnexa anatomy outside the eye, external to internal by tissue. So I can go through all of the different tissues over here, documenting any positive hits. So let's go ahead and say everything's normal here. The conj looks great. K's look great. Anterior chamber iris is great. I'm going to jump down to discs. And let's go ahead and say that my patient has a 0.30 disc on our cup to disc ratio. Everything looks good there. Now notice what's great about this is everything is documented as normal unless I otherwise indicated it's not. We know our patient's a myope. We know that we performed a refraction today. We are going to set up the follow-up. It's already there for us, so it's already set. I counseled my patient on myopia today. We did a contact lens assessment today. I have different levels I can indicate there, depending on what level of contact lens, spherical, bifocal, toric, progressive, scleral, specialty. It's all there and can be customized as well. Let's go ahead and say that we also took some retinal photos today. We screened her for retinal photos, so let's go ahead and do that. And let's go ahead and save what we have here and take a look. So once I do that, you will see that I've got my CCHPI completed, review of systems, vision exam, ocular exam, impressions, plans. We sent our RX. Everything is green over here. If I look down at the bottom, let's take a look at our codes. I've got 92014. Did you see me select that? No, Eyefinity EHR knows that because of the type of exam that I've documented today. H52.10, I have my 92310, that's my contact lens fitting. I've got my 92015, which is fantastic for the refraction. I've got an S9986 code, which I did a custom screening on that because the patient's going to pay out of pocket. If the patient were not paying out of pocket, Eyefinity EHR would know that because I would have gone ahead and just chose like a different screening test for the patient. Now, let's say, and I know what you're thinking, hey, Phernell, where are those photos? What can Eyefinity EHR do for my, not only photos, but maybe an OCT, right? You know, maybe you want to document and see the results of the OCT, or you want to see the results of your VEG, right? Or ERP, right? So let's go ahead and jump into imaging. I select images. Wow, look at all the images available specific to the patient. I know it's this patient's information. It's inside the patient's file, not on the device. Let me say that again. It's within the patient's file, not the device. Now, why is that so important? The reason that's so important is because I want to make sure I'm looking at my specific patient and I want to have access to it wherever I am. Maybe you have a second location, or maybe you're doing a prescription refill, like for a medication, and I'll show you that as well in just a few moments. But I can go through this and I can look at, here's that fundus photo that we took earlier today. Maybe I want to compare with another photo over there. I can do that. I can manipulate and zone in. You know, maybe I want to take a look at the optic nerve and I want to see what's happening with the optic nerve with the CDs, if there's any notching and so forth, or maybe it's a diabetic patient and I want to see if there's any dot heme or if there's any hard or soft exudates and so forth. I can see that, so I don't have to rely on going to the device, pulling it up, increasing the hard drive on my maybe my Optomap or my Maestro every year and so forth, right? How many of you have to deal with that, right? And where's the images? Oh my gosh, did I back up the images and so forth? Let me tell you again, all the images are inside of Eyefinity EHR. Easy to get to. I can make notes. I can review them. I can do comparisons. I can add different case studies with my patient as well and document and make notes on the chart. Do whatever I'd like with that patient. This gives me the power to show the patient as well. As that patient is sitting in the chair, how effective is it to say, Mrs. Jones, I know you're diabetic. I know you're on metformin, but it's uncontrolled. I need to send a letter to your primary care physician, which we do that as well through auto letters very easily. I can send that electronically, or I can send that via fax. I know a lot of doctors still use fax. And we can show the patient their actual images in real time on a screen. How many of your patients would just love that, to be able to see, this is what I saw when I looked at that? And many of you are probably having to go to Optomap to pull that up and so forth, and try to find the right chart and so forth. So this saves you a lot of time. Now, I'm going to pause for just a moment, because I want to show you a couple more things that we have to offer you. But before I do that, I want to show you what the document looks like, because many of you are thinking, okay, we're doing all this, Phernell. What does my exam chart look like this? Bam! Take a look at this. I love it. I can take a look here. I can see the patient's medications, ocular history, social systemic history. I can take a look at, there's her chief complaint. I didn't have to type any of this. Eyefinity EHR is great because it saved me time. Everything's spelled correctly. Everything is selected. I don't have to worry, and it properly documented. Now, why does it say preliminary? It says preliminary because I did not complete the exam yet. Once I complete the exam and I say, yep, this exam is finished, I can finalize that visit. I don't have to, but I can close it or finalize if I want to, which just, it locks the exam, right? There's the contact lens trials. There's our autorefractor measurements. There's our IOP. There's our diagnostic drops. There's the cup to disc ratio right over there. Now, this is for the ideal patient over there. But if my patient weren't ideal, right, what would that look like? Well, let me show you what that would look like quickly, okay? So I'm going to go back into my ocular exam, okay? And I'm going to basically take a look just to review what we've done before over here. These were the exams right over here, right? So those were my exams. If I go back into diagnosis and I say, you know what, maybe the patient had the beginnings of a cataract, right? I could say, where was that cataract, right? Well, when I looked in the slit lamp on the patient, it was in the lens, maybe over here, right? Maybe I counseled the patient about her cataracts. I can then talk about the status or any associated diagnosis, or I can actually give it a level or say, is it 1+, 2+, trace, and so forth. I can set a follow-up, right? Maybe I want to see her back next year because it's not bad enough, right, for next year. Or maybe maybe it's 3+, right? And I want to send her out. We can actually send it out for co-management and send a referral letter out to maybe an ophthalmologist for surgery, right? So everything is easily documented just like that. And again, could I have put in the level 3+, 2+? Yes, I could do that as well. But I wanted to show you how quickly and easy it is to get to. What if there was another condition, right? I mean, just for kicks and giggles, let's do that in the remaining minutes that we have. Let's say that she maybe have trichiasis, right? So maybe I want to document that my patient suffers from trichiasis, right? And let's say that with my patient having trichiasis, right? Let's go ahead and say trichiasis. Let's say right eye. And let's say that we're going to do epilation with our patient, right? I could go through here, and if I can spell this correctly here, and I can go through here and I can document epilation. The quick and easy way also to get over here is with consents. This is my favorite part over here, and I'll show you why. Once I come over here to consents, and I can see everyone's consents, or I could just go with my consent, I can have the patient sign right here. This is really what I want to show you. The workflow is the same regardless of diagnosis, but I wanted to show you the patient can actually sign right over here to epilation, right over here, and explain what we're going to do with the patient. You know, they could put their signature here. You could put your signature over here, right here on the iPad, which is great. If they want a copy of that, I can print it, or it's inside the patient's portal. You mean we have a patient's portal? Yes, we absolutely have a patient's portal as well, which is great. So the patient can actually get to their information. Let's talk about a couple more items, and I'm quickly trying to get through everything, all the highlights of Eyefinity EHR. Data is so important. I know that you may be using a different system today, or maybe you're on one of our legacy systems and you're thinking, yeah, Phernell, this is great and I really love it and I want to upgrade to Eyefinity EHR. How do I do that? What happens to my old charts? What happens to all of that data for my past notes? All those past notes are going to be right here. It's a great question. That's the number one question that we typically get. What about my data, right? Because that's really the value of the practice. We have today's chart. Here's a previous chart over here. Let's go ahead and take a look at another chart from before, right over here. So all of those patient charts are right at the top and their time date stamped, right? And their date stamped. So here's a chart back from March. Guess what? How far can you go back? We bring everything over. And let me tell you what I mean by that. Everything will come over from your system. It'll look as if it were performed in Eyefinity EHR. All the information will be contextual for the specific areas. And not only that, are you ready for this? What's even better? With up to 3+ years of data, okay, depending on the area, but 3+ years of data, you can actually import the data from before. What does that mean? It means it's structured. So let's say I performed a refraction in your old system, right? From let's say 2-3 years ago, and you want to bring that in because maybe they're still wearing that old RX, right? Hopefully not, but we see that, right? You can import that into today's visit as their habitual RX. How great is that? That's going to save time. It's going to make it easier for your staff to learn the new system. It's going to make it easier for you because you're going to see the information right there contextually. Last thing I really want to talk about that I'm really excited about is that we have the ability within medications as well. So if I wanted to, let's say, write an RX for maybe my patient has glaucoma, right? And I want to basically write a prescription for that. Every prescription that comes up is related to that specific diagnosis. Look at this, latanoprost, Lumigan, everything is right here. Not only that, I can go down to show grand rounds and I can see what all the other doctors in the US are prescribing with that. How do you get that information? Well, we have a direct integration through SureScripts that shows all of this information. All of my favorite RXs that I can use are there as well. Compound RXs are over here as well if I want to use a compound RX. What about formulary? Now, what do I mean by formulary? If I wanted to have a formulary and see the patient's formulary, this patient does not have it there, but I can see if there's anything else available. So let me show you latanoprost. I can see all the pharmacies that the patient has assigned to them. I can say what's the location of it, what's the quantity, how many units. All of that will automatically save for me, and I'll never have to set that again. Notice something else important on the screen. Does your EHR do this? Price comparison. My patient says, wait a minute, I use Walgreens over in Gresham, Oregon, and I want to know how much this RX is going to be. Well, based upon your pharmacy and plan at Walgreens is $4.99. And if it was available at others and I wanted to see those as well, I could see those as well. There's even a good RX e-coupon here because some of these prescriptions can actually be far more expensive than $4.99, right? And the patient's concerned, can I afford this RX? Is there a generic available? Well, you don't have to remember that because Eyefinity EHR will show you all those things because I know a lot of optometrists now are therapeutic doctors of optometry and they're doing a ton of medical. And so now this will make that much easier. Lastly, before I switch back over to Isaac, what about contraindicators? Like, hey, the patient shouldn't have this. There's a contraindicator. We tell you that as well. So you don't have to remember all those contraindicators as well, because we can actually import, let me say this again, import the patient's prescriptions from all the pharmacies, regardless of where they went, because it's connected again through SureScripts, through all the pharmacies are connected. So that eliminates a lot of doctor shopping that may be happening, right? Let's say if it's a controlled substance that you are a DEA or a DEA controlled substance that you want to prescribe, right? Some of you, not everybody. Or if you want to see previous glaucoma drugs that they have been on, or any drug, maybe even from another state, another doctor, we can actually, you can actually see that in real time with the press of one button to import those medications. So no longer the patient has to remember every single drug they're on, because sometimes that can be very difficult. Let's go ahead and finish this up. Send those fees over to the optician. Done. I can finalize that visit. Done. As you can see, Eyefinity EHR does so much. We didn't even scratch the surface today of everything that this patient has, and we can review more with our integrations, with our AI, artificial intelligence, that's going to help you be better doctors. And what I mean by better is that you'll be able to focus on those patient needs rather than have to worry about the documentation. We're going to liberate you to basically do the best that you can in optometry. So let's go ahead and unshare that. I'll stop that from being over there. We'll jump back over here. Isaac, I'll hand it back over to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Phernell. Really appreciate it. Just want to say thanks again to everybody for taking the time out of your busy schedules. I want you to look at the screen here. We do have an exclusive offer for anyone who's attended this webinar. We are extending a Cyber Monday promotion that we did for anyone who is attending the webinar. So if you're interested in learning more, getting a customized quote for your practice, or any other additional questions you have on our system and what we can do to help you thrive, please feel free to scan the barcode here. I am also going to be putting my cell phone number and email in the chat. We would love to hear from you. We'd love to partner with you and help your business become the best it can be. So again, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Phernell. Look forward to hopefully hearing from you and helping your practice and partner for a successful future for the both of us. Happy holidays and have a great day.
Have a great day.
Bye for
Thanks,
now. Yep.